Hello everyone, welcome to the Kenyan American Home. So today we're going to be answering a question that I've been asked a lot. Can you change from a visit visa to any other visa when you get to the US? That's the question we're going to be tackling today. So stay tuned. Let's start here by saying a B1, which is a business visa, and a B2, which is a tourist visa, those visas are non-immigrant visas. So the intent is you are going to come here, for business purpose, for your B1 visa, or for leisure, for the B2 as a tourist to do something, to come do something. But then the intention is to go back to your home country. So that's the intent, which is very, very important. Intent is very important. It's very important when you go for your visa interview, when you go to do your B1, B2 visa interview. Intent is very important when you get to the port of entry. Okay? So if you apply for a B1, B2 visa, just know that this is a non-immigrant visa. You're going, but the intention is to go back to your home country. Okay? So if you go to the US Embassy and they give you the B1, B2 visa, they give you the visit visa, and so you get on a plane and you're on your way to the US. What happens is when you land into the US, okay, you get to the port of entry, whatever port of entry that you land in, and this is where. So, you can get your visa. You can get your visa at the US Embassy. But there's also another hurdle that you have to jump, which is the port of entry. Okay? And this is from a personal experience from, a friend of ours. A friend of ours got a B2 visa, which is, they got a tourist visa. And they got on a plane and they came to the US. So when they landed at the port of entry, the immigration, the officer at the port of entry started to ask him questions. And in the line of questioning, the officer came to realize that, my friend, he was going to the US with a visit visa, but he actually had his fiancée there. And there was some sort of intention that, at some point, whether during the visit, that they were going to get married. What happened is because the intent was misused, and because he did not apply for the right visa. Because what the officer told him is, it looks like you came here to meet your girlfriend, then maybe get married. And you should have come to the US with a different visa. You should have gotten a K1 visa. You should have gotten a spouse visa. So what they did is they put him back on a plane. So he got to see his girlfriend, fiancé, through the glass as they shipped him back to his home country. This is very important. Intent is very important. The intent for you getting a B1, B2 visa is you're coming to the US temporarily, and then you're going to go back to your home country. And so you have to be, this is one of the things, because then when you cross those two lines, if you're coming in here and your intention is very different, it's gonna cross. And once it crosses, then you start to get yourself in trouble, because then it becomes fraudulent that you're coming to the US with fraudulent reasons. Okay? So you go to the US Embassy, you get your visit visa. Come, get to the customs, get to the port of entry. They'll ask you questions. Your intention is, you have true intentions that you're coming here, for a business purpose, or you're coming in here you're coming in here for leisure. You're coming as a tourist. You're just coming having fun, and then you're going back. You're coming meeting somebody, and then you're going back to your home country. Okay? So what happens is at the port of entry, when they admit you into the US, they give you what is called an I-94. An I-94 is it's a document that they attach to your they attach to your passport, and this is a document that tells you this is how long this is when you entered the US, and this is how long you have to stay in the US. It tells you your I-94 will tell you you are admitted until this date. Okay, so when you come to the US with a visit visa, the maximum amount of time that they can give you at the port of entry is 6 months. It's not guaranteed to get 6 months. Sometimes they may give you less. It really does depend on the officer that admits you. Okay, so the date that you're supposed to have left the US is on your I-94. And if you want to know where that is at the bottom right corner of your I-94. It's going to say you are admitted until this time. And that's the date that you're supposed to leave the US. Failure to which you get out of status. I hope I'm very clear. Okay? So you come to the, you fly into the US, you're going through customs, you're going through the port of entry, and they've given you an I-94 and they've let you go. You're coming here as a visitor. Then along the way something happens. And so here's where I want to talk about something else. So intent, very important. You're not coming in here with the intent to change your visa. You're not coming in here with the intent to marry somebody. You're not coming in here as a visitor with the intent to come to become a student. It's you came into the US with the intent to be a visitor. And then after you visit, you go back to your home country before the date that you're given in your I-94 expires. But then things happen. You might come to the US, visit somebody, and along the way, you end up finding a really awesome school that has all the research areas, everything that you wanted to be able to advance your career. And then you become interested in, is it possible for me to enroll as a student? Is it possible for me to adjust my status from a B1, B2 to an F1, which is a student visa? And so intent again, you came in here with the intent to do your thing and then go back home. But then something's happened, and that happens. It's part of life, You come in here and, and so many things happen. So there is this, and so this is the Department of State. Department of State talks about a 90-day rule that, that it's they call it a 90-day rule that you came into the US with the intent, with your visit visa. And so you can't just, it's what they're technically saying is you can't just change your status right away and get married to somebody here in the US, before the 90 days are over. And if you do that within the 90, before the 90 days are over, then they start to question your intent. What was really your intent? Was your intent to actually come here and get married? And instead of getting the right marriage-based visa, you decided to come here as a student, as a visitor, and skip the line. So intent, very important. So there's that Department of State 90-day rule. But ultimately, these things happen. And seek legal advice as you're navigating through this. Because then now you see this starts to get really complicated. It starts to get really complicated, and you don't want to complicate it even more. Find somebody who's studied law, who knows these things, who's been through and has experience in navigating these situations, and then they'll be able to take you through it.